think I was in you guys' class, and I told you guys when I was 3 years old, I saw Clash of the Titans, and I recall my siblings trying to push me out of the room because they thought I was going to be afraid of Medusa for some reason and not all the other monsters. But, like, I took a stand. And I wanted to, like, look at this thing that they were telling me I was going to be afraid of. And so I did, and I found myself very intrigued by the woman with these glowing eyes and snakes for hair. My name is Candrace Jones, and I am the playwright of a Medusa Thread. I wanted to create a piece about sexual assault because I am a survivor of childhood sexual assault. And I wanted to do it in a way that examined conversations about sexual assault, in the way we talk about them in everyday conversation, and also in the ways that we learn about them in literature.
Hi, my name is Shirley Jo Finney, and I am the director of A Medusa's Thread by Candace Jones. I never wanted to be in this business. I was not one of those people that go, oh, I'm going to direct or I'm going to act or any of that. It's a fluke. I'm the kind of person that if I've never done anything before and the opportunity presents itself and it's a door, my curiosity makes me go through that door. The way the universe works for me, I just go with the flow. I had no intention of becoming an actress, but yet I did. And I was a working actress, and I made a career out of it. I had no intention of being a director because I thought I was an actress. I had no intention. So it came to me. Okay, let me go through that. And I did it.
If you win, Martha wins. If Martha wins, you win. That's why Coach Temple has y'all training together.
And I know the next question you're going to ask me. So I was acting, made a living at acting, commercials, blah, 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 blah. But long story short, ended up, I said yes because that was a door I hadn't been before, and he was a friend, and got into it. Ship work. Now, I can say, because how I enter a piece, I direct emotionally. I'm not a technical director. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there has to be eye contact.
I'll just go straight from there because I feel like that's...
Because I don't particularly have a style. The play or the script dictates, like we talked about before, the rhythm, the energy, and the style. You know how they say that it gets passed down, all that trauma that one carries in the family gets passed down in your cellular structure. This is also happening in this world. And if you notice in the room, I'll say actors ready and action. So I mix the language of both mediums of stage and film because that's the medium I come from. But also in the rhythm of the play, I'm moving camera. I do tracking shots. You know what I'm saying? In my head, I'm moving. So my pieces are always constantly in motion because about the eye. The attention span of an audience. We're so used to moving.
I love working with Shirley. I have never had a Black director before, so that's been really cool. I'm not even gonna lie, at first she scared me a little bit. She has tougher exterior than I'm used to working with, but I think that that's really what pushed me because I go into every rehearsal like I want to impress Shirley. I want to make her proud. She will definitely tell it to you straight. She's kind of not afraid to shift into that tough love type zone. I think all in all, she's very creative. I can tell that she's someone who just, loves all of us. She always calls us like her children. And she says it usually in kind of an annoyed way, like, I'm surrounded by like all these kids.
Hello, I'm having a heart attack.
Oh, did you want me to? No, you thought you were just demonstrating for talent.
Now y'all thought it was real.
That's a Tyra Banks shit.
She loves working with us. She loves being able to teach us and help us. And she just wants what's best for us, wants what's best for the show. And so I really appreciate that about her.
I think the thing with Shirley Jo is she's just been lovely and welcoming and just she really wants everyone in the room to learn. She wants you to just absorb as much information as you can when you're there, which has been phenomenal as a learning experience.
6 a.m. call for hair and makeup. And you may not go on set till 2 o'clock that afternoon.
Directed by her as an actor has been quite an experience because her mind works in mysterious ways and things just come to her. And she likes to say, it came to me in a dream. You know, a lot of things come to her in her sleep and she comes to rehearsal like, okay, let's do this, let's go here. She's very physical with her directing and she likes to like get on her feet and kind of show us what to do. And working with her has been such a dream. I love her. She is like a mother to me.
She and I, we have a similar kind of, I would say, thread. Allowing yourself to feel and dive into something. She'll jump in and you see the emotion.
Sisters are your blood.
Or if one of you fight,
All of you fight.
I felt that. Like, it's just so wonderful working with that.
I love working with Shirley Joe. I feel like she kind of talks in her own language when she's directing, and so sometimes it can be a little hard to understand, but she really is motivated by emotion and what this character is feeling at that moment. She really gets to the root of like being able to empathize with characters, even though you might not necessarily think that they're correct. She really emphasizes the need to, I'd say, like your character and not judge them.
Real world experience working with Shirley Joe. Seeing somebody passionate about their craft makes you want to be more passionate about it. I think she has an amazing way and weird techniques that might make you think, how is that going to help get me to this point? But there's a method to all the madness and you'll end up in a certain like vulnerable space or a certain like mindset. She's amazing of getting her job done for sure.
I just loved being on the stage. Like, I love the adrenaline rush, I love the feeling, and I feel like normally outside of theater, I'm kind of a more shy, reserved person. Just connections is like kind of hard for me, just kind of being like confident. And so I like that even if it's just for like a minute on the stage, I can feel that confidence, feel that power, feel that energy from being on stage and have those connections with my cast members, form that family. It's definitely been hard to kind of balance my personal life and my other activities with theater because I'm not used to having such a rigorous rehearsal schedule. I'm not used to having 4-hour rehearsals. I'm not used to having them 5 days a week. So that's been a transition.
I think the hours that I'm putting into this last show, as draining as they may be and time consuming and tiring as they may be, I feel like it'll be worth it because acting is like any other talent. You gotta like put some oil in it and you gotta do it. It's like a muscle, you know, you just gotta keep working it out. So I'm as tired as I am and as much as I like to say like, oh my gosh, I wish I had like my Monday evenings back and this and that, I think that in the end it's really worth it because once I graduate, I will have this experience of like working a lot and, you know, spending a lot of time just acting and being on stage and things like that.
In terms of balancing, I just kind of do it because I have to, you know? I find time to do homework during rehearsal in the free time. I find time throughout the day to just carve out time for myself and for my friends and for stuff that I have to do. You know, I make it work, and at the end of the day, I don't go to sleep feeling crazy overwhelmed, even though it is kind of a stressful experience. I just find a way to make it work.
I love this process and I love delving into this, but I cannot wait to have a Saturday where I just sit back and I'm like, or like a Friday night, because I have no classes on Friday. I'm like, oh, we go, you know, just to kind of like wade in the self-care that you do have to partake in to get yourself back out of it.
I find the time to hang out with my friends, and even though like it's like Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 is rehearsal, and then Saturday, 5 to 11, Saturday through Sunday is 5 to 11 is work. Like, I find the time. I'll find that from 10 to 2:30. This is demon time, you know? It's time to do me, work on music, write, sleep, do homework, anything, you know? So I find my time.
My job here is mostly to maintain the shop and manage the shop and all the employees in there that are helping us build the set. We have a technical director who is my boss, and he does and creates all the drawings from the drawings and the model that the designer gives him. And then all those drawings come down to me, and I work with the employees in the shop to build from those blueprints. This is the model for the show that we are working on right now, which is Medusa Thread. And you can see we've loaded in a few pieces here already. We have some of the proscenium walls, which are these ones right here, that are ready to be painted. We've installed this circle platform here, which is this red piece in the middle that is going to have the salon chair and a few other small furniture items. This particular show is set up in 3/4, so we have audience on 3 sides. And we're building currently in the shop, what you saw today is these portal panels that are going to go in the 2 entryways here. And they will have LEDs inside to light up the entryway as the actors come through. Theater generally is a pretty wasteful industry just because we build for 2 weeks and then it gets struck and thrown into the garbage. So pretty cool that we are seeing a set here that is going to be using a lot of reclaimed materials, which is pretty neat. So all this foam here was actually reclaimed from a dumpster near where the set designer works. We have student employees, so what's really cool about this show and about all the shows at UCSB is that all of our sets are built by the students. So there's me, the scene shop manager, and then we have one other staff member who's our senior scene tech, Sundar Tripathi, and the 2 of us guide the students. We both teach and help train and help them learn about all the different techniques and how to build backstage. It's our job to lead them, but it's their job to actually build the set. So it's kind of a cool aspect here at UCSB. All of the sets, all the stuff that you've seen here was all built by students.
I think the great thing about the actors is they really care about this project. When there's something they want or something they get confused by, they're really good at vocalizing it. And then relaying that back to Shirley Jo, she's really caring about the cast. So she's so open to any feedback from them, which I think is pivotal in a play with themes like this. I think you've got to be open and up for all the, constructive criticism, all of it. But no, they're working together really well at the moment.
I didn't know anyone in the cast. I know that some other people knew each other because they're in the BFA, but everyone from day one was so welcoming and it just felt like it all clicked. I feel like they're some really fun people, some really good friends now that I hope to keep after the show because I didn't know them before it.
I knew a lot of the people who are in the cast with me, but I've also met some new faces, and I think they're lovely people. We're really finding a sense of ensemble together, even with stage managers, our assistant directors. I feel like they've been really supportive in the process. You really need other people to take care of you so that, you're not doing harm to yourself on stage.
I would say working with this cast has been chaotic. It's very cool how we can kind of switch it up. Because this is such a heavy and serious topic, that when it's action, and we are able to kind of tap into that and just click. But then when it's break time or we're in the green room, seeing everybody's crazy personalities, everybody kind of has their own little storyline, and we kind of keep up with each other's little drama, whether it's romance life or, housemate life or whatnot. So it's kind of cool having that sort of set family, if you will.
My favorite part of the process of this play, and in any play that I'm in, is getting to know my castmates. I love my castmates. They are so talented, they're funny, they have their own individual quirks and personalities, and they're all just a bunch of characters. I really did enjoy getting to work with one of my really close classmates, Cyrus Roberts, who plays Ovid and Emerson in Person 1. I just love seeing how much that he has grown as an actor, and from meeting him my sophomore year, we've both just come such a long way in our acting and in the craft that we've spent 3 years studying here. So that's been one of my favorite parts of this play, is getting to see how much me and my good friend have grown in our process.
It's an all-black cast in an area where there's not a lot of black people, so I think that's really cool. I've never been in a production that was even predominantly black or all black at that. At my old high school, I did theater. There would be max like 2 people in a show. So being in a production that is written by a black person, directed by a black person, featuring an all black cast, sharing story that's important to the black community was something that I really wanted to be a part of, and it felt really important and influential to me.
Working with an all-black cast is something that I've had this experience, well, I guess twice, because I was in Beauty and the Beast Junior. To see this then re-represented in my college days, like it makes me feel whole. It makes me feel like my path has continued to go through. It makes me happy for the future I want to kind of see. I want to have more rooms like this.
I was really drawn to this play because of the cultural impact that it has had on myself as a black individual and on other black people in my community. I just want to give a shout out to all of the black actors in my program. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I am with you, and I just want to say, don't give up. You are creating something for your community and for people who are like you, and I feel like that's what I'm doing right now.
The character I relate to most in the play, I think, is Essence. I would say the Essence is the young Candace who was still trying to figure things out as far as how to deal with rape trauma. Trying to figure out how to, first of all, communicate that to the world or to people who I felt I needed to communicate that to. And when I did communicate it to people, I got a lot of different responses. Most people would respond with, "I'm sorry that happened to you." A lot of people responded with, a lot of questions. So what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. But the responses from my closest family members were the most complex or the most varied, because it went from, why didn't you tell immediately? Oh, I didn't know that happened, to that didn't happen. Or it didn't happen in the way that you thought that it did. You were too young to know, even what it was. And I'm like, I was young enough to know. I was young enough to fight back, and I was, young. I was old enough to know it was wrong.
He overpowered me. His sister tried to silence me. Working in this play has made me have to unfortunately confront things that I have not wanted to touch. And I'm still working through them because it is a process. And, if only it was as easy as washing your hair of impurities. Purgatory time. But honestly, going through this process has been one of the most enlightening things, because it's opened my eyes to so many other people's misconceptions about, and like the fact that I didn't even know, like, this thing that I've been dealing with that I've like tried to process through the past 6 or 7 weeks. At this point, like, it just does such a beautiful job at showing you how in your face this matter should be, but also like understanding that you can heal yourself.
Sounds valuable.
You know your worth. Always have.
Even though you died young.
I love the topic of consent. I feel like that's not really talked about that much. It might be talked about in a different lens, a different perspective, but I feel like it's very important to talk about consent being given and then also being taken away at any point. I feel like I haven't really been in a lot of shows that talk about that.
And I remember when we first read the script, I had like a lot of really vivid nightmares about that subject and being sexually assaulted, and just graphic images. So I think approaching this play, I really have to step outside of the play when I'm done. I always try to check out whenever I'm done with a scene or whenever we are finished with rehearsal. I always try to check out with all of my castmates just so I know and they know that we're not in this world anymore. And as someone who hasn't experienced sexual assault in the way that the characters in this show have experienced that, I kind of have to find the feeling within myself as the actor portraying these characters, that emotion of violation, like how I have experienced something that violating, but I will never like truly understand the depth or the gravity of the feeling of someone who has been assaulted.
We're looking at a story about healing, trauma, and in this particular case, it's sexual trauma. But emotionally, when a person's been traumatized, you know, I always say emotions are universal, right? And that's what connects us. So when you look at trauma and what it does psychologically to a person, emotionally to a person, the physiology of the person, what happens when you hold on to stress, right, is the same. And how do you heal that? It's a process of healing. Some people never heal because they're holding on to the anger. They're holding on to the trauma. And it takes a lot of courage to go past and through the fear to let go.
I am definitely excited. I'm so, just seeing the way that it keeps coming through and how we keep adding and the way that they keep, talking to us. Every performance is going to be a preview. We're still workshopping because we're going to still keep finding stuff every single night that we add on. So, hella excited.
Okay, see? I guess you guys got that for the video. We want that underscored in one of
What am I doing here?
Stepping outside the cathartic moments.
Need a breather? I'm trying to figure out my place here with Medusa. Your place?
With Medusa.
Right.
Medusa the Gorgon.
The one with snakes in her hair.
The one raped by Poseidon.
The one with golden locks of hair.
She said she didn't have golden locks of hair.
The one who runs this shop.
Enough about Medusa!
We know Medusa.
Who are you?
I'm Essence.
Essence who?
Essence Worthy.
Medusa Thread is a really influential and impactful show that I am so blessed to be a part of. It is different than anything that anyone will ever see, but that's kind of what gives it its spark, that's what gives it its fun, and that's what gives it its depth too, because you are dealing with some deep stuff. But I think that it's a story that needs to be told that hasn't been told before.
The time that I'm spending in this play is going to be worth it because I love what I'm doing, and I love acting, and I love theater. So I don't think as much as I complain, I love it, and I wouldn't not do it.
This is my first production. Whoa. Like, it was not supposed, but it is. And this experience has really been amazing. And I feel like we all grew in this process. We all taught each other a lot of things in this process. We all learned a lot of things in this process, and I will forever be grateful to each of you. I truly am. Really, thank you. And you guys, y'all kicked ass tonight.
Yeah, you did.
Y'all kicked ass tonight. Y'all were making choices that you had never made before. You got your pacing down. Y'all grew the fuck up into them characters tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I know this play is going to have legs because of the subject matter. and how unique it is. At this particular time in our lives, there's a place beyond language where communication is, and that emotions are universal, that transcend. And we need more and more pieces, and this is a piece of healing. Even those, and it's not all like mea culpa, mea maxa culpa. We're looking at these people who are living, laughing, dying, and crying, and making choices and healing through that process.